So our second Distinguished Alumni Award and our final award of this afternoon will be presented to an alumna of the Gallatin School of Individualized Study, Christy Turlington Burns. Please enjoy learning more about Christy's career.
Every mother, everywhere, deserves access to safe maternity care. Every Mother Counts is a nonprofit dedicated to making pregnancy and childbirth safe, respectful, and equitable for every mother everywhere.
When she came to Gallatin, she was already an internationally famous supermodel. But when life presented a problem to her, she pivoted, she changed what she was doing, and she turned her life in a totally different direction to address what she saw as a world issue that needed her attention.
I personally experienced a postpartum complication. I hemorrhaged after the birth of my daughter, Grace, who was born in 2003. And that experience really illuminated not only maternal mortality here in the United States, which continues to get worse every year, but also globally. So I founded Every Mother Counts in 2010, initially as a campaign to raise awareness around global tragedy that exists, which is maternal mortality.
More than 1 million women have been directly impacted. And of course, the work of raising attention is uncountable in its impact.
We have partners across 9 countries that are all community-based, that really exemplify models of care that we know will make the difference for mothers and birthing people in those communities. We advocate, we storytell. My film, No Woman, No Cry, was the first film that I think was putting voices and faces to these statistics that the world was starting to wake up to.
Christy's work with Every Mother Counts is a perfect example of the best of a Gallatin education. She continues to grow, to take what she already knows and put it to service in the work of what she wants to achieve. Christy Turlington Burns is an international role model.
My experience at NYU helped really allow me to see myself in this much bigger way. It was what I was looking for, but I got so much more out of it than I even intended.
Escorted by Dean Victoria Rosner, it's my pleasure to welcome Christy to the stage.
It's an honor and a pleasure to be with you all today to celebrate the tremendous achievements of Christy Turlington Burns. Christy Turlington Burns has blazed an illustrious and impactful career driven by passion, purpose, and as you've seen, a commitment to making a better world. Like many of our Gallatin alumni, Christy's career has many different facets. She is an entrepreneur, philanthropist, filmmaker, supermodel, and that is not an exhaustive list. The arc of Christy's career speaks to her refusal to settle or to coast on previous success. She made time in her busy life as a model to earn a degree at Gallatin and then made a major career pivot after suffering complications related to the birth of one of her children. Christy's tireless and transformative work as a health and wellness advocate has bettered the lives of countless people, sparking awareness and action on a global scale. Her leadership has effected meaningful and lasting change, removing barriers to accessible and equitable maternity care. I love the name of Christy's organization, Every Mother Counts. I think it says everything about her values and her advocacy for the rights of all mothers everywhere to have access to the care that they need. When I met Christy for the first time, I was struck by the way she took her personal experience as a mother who underwent a difficult and dangerous birth, and turned it into a passion to help people in the same situation who she would never meet all over the world. As the Dean of Gallatin, I am so proud of the example that Christy has set for our Gallatin students today, and they now include, I'm delighted to mention, her daughter Grace, who is here with us today. Christy's example inspires our students to learn from their experiences, especially difficult ones, and use them as an engine for social change and personal leadership. In recognition of Christy's unparalleled professional achievements, the passion and conviction that shine out of her work, and her extraordinary success across every field of endeavor she turns her hand to, we present this award with the deep admiration and respect of the entire NYU community. Please join me in congratulating Christy Turlington Burns.
The older acknowledged folks get to wear the glasses. Jennifer. Thank you so much, Dean Rosner, and congratulations to my fellow awardees and to all of those who are here today who lift us up daily to be our best selves. Thank you. When I was just a girl, before I started my career, I would not have identified as a model student or a future distinguished alumni. While I was always curious and loved to learn, it was in a more practical sense, in a being or in a doing. I learned to take risks by jumping on the back of someone else's horse in an open pasture in fields of wild yellow mustard and bright orange California poppies. I would get lost digging into the earth with my bare hands, inspecting small bones of birds and feathers in search of fossils or traces of Native American treasures in my best friend's backyard. I learned to drive on a freeway under my father's tutelage rather than in a parking lot or on a quiet country road for the first time. Soon after I started modeling, at the age of 14, my life divided into two. One where I learned to share space with creative adults, navigating public transportation in big international cities from San Francisco to Paris or Cairo, and the other, far less interesting, one of being a very average teenager living in the suburbs, miles away from any of those cities, only reachable by plane, bus, or train. I was proud of the fact that I could get myself anywhere and fly across the world to get to work on time without a cell phone or GPS, no less. By the time I was just 16. I learned my profession by standing in front of the lens of a camera and listening carefully for any feedback I could glean, often in language that I did not understand. The standing in front of a camera bit was often uncomfortable, but eventually I started to feel more at ease, and over time I grew more familiar with the process of shedding my discomfort as my teenaged self into someone new as the practice became more familiar. By 18, I was living on my own in a loft in downtown New York City, feeling rather self-reliant and free. As my confidence in the world grew, I started to imagine a future for myself as a whole person, one who didn't need to abandon her past selves to become the person I am today. I started asking myself, what kind of woman do I want to be? Looking back, I never felt any sense of accomplishment or pride around anything to do with the work itself. The joy I experienced was always in the overcoming of one obstacle or another. The joy I experienced was always, it didn't take long for me to realize that I wasn't going to be challenged in any meaningful way on that path unless I sought that out for myself. The right time to slow down, to make a change, never arrived, so I eventually created the space for that too. I was 26 years old when I finally applied to NYU, equal parts worldly and wary by then. Gallatin was as much a respite as it was a catalyst for transformation. I took on every new assignment and semester with more gusto each time. And while I continued to work throughout my 4 years at Gallatin, school always came first. It felt like the greatest luxury and also the best expression of self-care and love that I could not afford not to give myself at that time. A school without walls was appealing for the obvious reasons, I suppose. I was never a student who would have thrived in a closed campus environment. I didn't realize that such a school existed before I made the decision to continue my education. Gallatin chose me. Standing here today, nearly 25 years later, I'm filled with immense pride and gratitude for the opportunity and means to invest in myself. The 4 years I spent at Gallatin gave me all that I craved in order to explore parts of myself I didn't yet know. I relished every moment of my time there and came out another person. One with more confidence and clarity around what I was capable of, and even some ideas about how I would take it all with me as I started to design my future. That plan would involve all the things I had grown to love: travel, writing, and reflection. It would also create the opportunity for a deeper social impact. I would choose this path again for myself if I had the chance to do it all over. I am overjoyed for my daughter Grace, who is coming to the end of her freshman year at Gallatin this spring. Watching her begin to develop and hone her passions and interests and weave them all together at 19 makes me so excited and keeps me hopeful for the world that she and her peers have inherited. Thank you so much for this honor and recognition. Thank you.